Hello and welcome to Master Your Mindset with your host, Isis Foster. This is the place to be for anyone who is on a personal development journey. I will be sharing with you my own mindset hacks and personal past experiences. Please subscribe and share if you enjoy what I'm about to share with you and you've taken value from it. You never know who may need to hear it. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of Master Your Mindset. I am your host, Isis Foster, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. This week, if you haven't already guessed by the caption on this podcast, we are going to be talking about showing up as her. Some people may have no idea what this means, but for those of you who may have already been on a personal development journey for a little while now, you will know exactly what it means to show up as her. And I actually got this question the other day. What does it actually mean by showing up as her? So first of all, I'm going to tackle this question. So whatever stage you are at in your personal development journey, you're going to know exactly what this phrase means because we see it absolutely everywhere. See it all over social media. If you're in this space already, people may already be talking about showing up as her. So showing up as her is showing up as your highest self. It's putting yourself in the shoes of the person that you want to become. It's living the life which you have wanted to do for years and years and years. It's surrounding yourself with the people who you want to be surrounded with. It's putting yourself in environments that you want to be in. It's living a life that you are proud to live. It's thinking in a way which you inspire to think like. So if you are showing up as her, it means you are living a life as your truest, most authentic and highest self. It's almost like living your dream life. However, it no longer has to be a dream because you are already showing up as her. So before I even stepped foot within the personal development space, I had no idea what this phrase meant at all. I had never even heard of it. But I think when you are surrounded by people who want to level up their lives and they know there is more out there for them, this phrase is something now which I hear more than once a day. It's all over social media platforms. People are talking about this so much because I think as a community, the personal development industry has realised that whatever life you are living right now, it doesn't have to be that way forever if you're not happy with it. And that is something so beautiful about this space. It's allowing you to grow and develop into the person that you want to be. It's showing you that you do not have to stay put in the position that you are in. If you hate your job right now, if you are in a relationship which is so toxic, if your friends always criticize you and bring you down, showing up as her means that you are putting your foot down to all of those things and you are walking away from the things that no longer serve you. So showing up as her is allowing you to break free of those toxic negative cycles and step into things which actually serve you and make your life a much better place. So I know that when I first heard this phrase, first of all, I was baffled, probably like a lot of you listening to this podcast, if you have never heard of it before. I was so baffled as to how I was going to get from A, where I am now, to B, where I wanted to be. And I think the one thing that absolutely petrified me was worrying about what other people were going to think of me. Because if you are somebody who cares a lot about other people's opinions, if you are somebody who has a close-knit circle of friends, and then you're all of a sudden going to be like, actually, no, this isn't serving me anymore, and walk away, people around you probably will talk. People around you are probably going to say, oh, what's going on with her? She's got a bee in her bonnet. These are all things which I was so worried about. I got to a point in my life where every single week and weekend just seemed a bit repetitive. I was working a Monday to Friday job And then at the weekend, I was partying every weekend. And I honestly got to a place with that lifestyle where I realised that this isn't serving me anymore. I know I can do more with my life, but I was so worried about what people were going to think of me and what people were going to say of me that I actually delayed my progress by walking away from those situations for so long, because it just felt more comfortable for me to stay in the life that I knew I could live comfortably, but I wasn't growing in any aspect of my life back then. And it wasn't until I said, actually, Isis, I know that you can do more than what you are currently doing. And walking away from the things that no longer serve you, whether that be a relationship, whether that be surrounding yourself with different people, because the people that you're surrounding yourself with don't aspire to the same things as you, whether that's walking away from a workplace that makes you feel uneasy and anxious, whatever it is, if you cannot see your current circumstances in your future, then it's time right now for you to walk away, because the longer that you leave it and the longer it takes you to walk away from those things, the less time you're going to have to enjoy the things that you actually want. So as I mentioned, one of the things that held me back for so long from being able to step away from those things that no longer served me was the opinions of others. And I really got in my head about this. I remember there was a point in time where I knew that I deserved more. I knew that I could do more. I knew I could be more. But the crippling thoughts of what people would say or think about me if I was to all of a sudden switch up made me feel honestly so nauseous. It made me feel sick to the core. But it wasn't until I decided to take charge of my actions and then actually put them into place. And then honestly, the saving grace for me was to be able to journal this all down. So I speak about journaling at least once on every single podcast I do, because it has been a technique which has helped me through, honestly, some of my darkest days. And it's a technique which you can implement if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're lazy, if you've got loads of energy. It doesn't matter how you feel. It literally is putting pen to paper and just jotting down what you have got in your mind in that moment. And if you are somebody who wants to switch up their life and go from A to B, this is a really healthy way to be able to vent out all those limiting beliefs, all those things that are holding you back. And if it's the case that you're worried about what someone else is going to think of you, then jot that down on the paper, because that is exactly what was holding me back. And the more times I wrote, I am scared what other people will think of me, I am scared of other people's opinions, the more I realised how actually silly that was, because nobody else out there has to live your life. You are the only person that has to walk in your shoes every single day. So if you are letting the opinions of other people stop you from doing exactly what you want to do and pursuing the life that you are going to love, what are you doing? And that's the point that I got to, because I genuinely was held back for so many years because I was so worried about what everyone thought. But then I remembered, actually, none of these people whose opinions I'm actually worrying about are ever going to have to walk in my shoes and are ever going to have to live my life. So if I take the first steps right now and over time develop into the person that I want to be, I'm going to look back and laugh. And I'm at that point now where I have broken free of so many things which I thought I would have in my life forever and ever and ever. But these are things now which I realise were only holding me back. I think you get to a certain point in different areas of your life, whether it be a job, a relationship, a friendship. And when you first take on that thing, it helps you grow. You see changes from different points of view. You look at your life differently. But then you kind of get to a point where it just plateaus. And I'm a firm believer that if something isn't helping you grow, it's not making you happy, and it's not making you develop into somebody that you're proud to be, then you got to let that shit go, girls, because there is nothing worse than staying put and then realising that you have lived the same life every single year. And it's a point in time, whenever I get to my birthday, which was last month, it always gets to that time of year where I just reevaluate everything I've achieved in that year. And I would say up until the last year, I felt like I was living the same life every single year. So for me, that was a pinnacle point of, right, what are we going to change this year? How can we improve? How are we going to do it? And are we going to let the opinions of others hold us back from what we are wanting to actually achieve? Because if your answer is yes, then you need to work on yourself more. You need to dive deeper into why you're wanting to change and also why you're letting the opinions of others hold you back. So right now we are going to do a mental task together. If you've got a pen and paper, great, you can actually jot this down physically. But if you're on a hot girl walk, or you're driving, or you're making dinner and you've just got this podcast playing, note these things down in your head. And when you've got a moment, jot them down on paper so you can always revert back to them. So what does your ideal day look like? And let's start from the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. So you're waking up, where are you? Who are you waking up next to? What are your surroundings? What temperature is it? What do you feel? These are all little details which you need to envision so that you can progress to getting exactly where you want to be. So for example, I literally used to envision myself waking up in a beautiful modern home. It would be so toasty because I would have slept with the heating on, which I know is so naughty. It would be clear blue skies outside. The sun would be beaming through my curtains. I would be waking up naturally with no alarm, and I would have literally the whole day to decide what I wanted to do. And when I tell you guys that is literally how I woke up today, you need to write these things down and put action towards getting to where you want to be, because there is so much power in your thoughts. And if you can decide exactly what you want, there is no limits into what you can achieve. So we're going to start at the beginning of your day. Once you've noted all those things down, if you need to pause this podcast for a second whilst you're writing, then please do. Then we're going to move on to activities in the day. What does your day look like? Are you going to be going to work in an office? Do you work from home? Are you traveling today? Are you going to a brunch today? Are you doing a rooftop drinking session? What does your day look like? Maybe you're going to get your nails done, or you're having a bit of a pamper day. Note down 3 things that you want to achieve in this day. Again, if you need to pause this, please pause this. Thirdly, what do you look like? Are you completely haggard because you are exhausted, because you are living a life which is go, go, go all the time? Do you take time for self-care to make yourself look good? Are you just having a chill day where your hair is completely scraped back? You don't have any makeup on? Are you going to get a facial? Are you getting your nails done? What does your dream day look like? Pause again if you need to. Are you working out? Are you going to the gym? Are you hanging out with friends? Are you spending the day with a loved one? These are all ideas that I am throwing at you, but obviously you will know exactly what your ideal day will look like. Then we get to the evening. What does your evening look like? Are you going out for dinner? Are you making dinner at home? Have you already batch cooked your dinner? Are you meeting a friend? Are you going to their house? Are you getting a takeaway? What does your dream dinner date look like? And then we're stepping into bed. Are you at your house? Are you at somebody else's house? Are you on holiday? What do your sheets feel like? What is the lighting like in your room? Are you journaling before bed? All of these things, guys, are so important, because once you can knuckle down on exactly what your dream life looks like, you can then begin to show up as her. If you are someone who dreams to wake up on their own, step into workout clothes, go to the gym, do a bit of work, nothing is beyond your reach. Nothing is too good for you to ever have. If you start today and you decide exactly what it is that you want to achieve, I promise you, in a year's time, you will be able to look back and you would have achieved at least one of those things that you wanted. You have to just put in the work consistently, and most importantly, you have to decide exactly what it is you want. You cannot go through this process just guessing and hoping for the best. You have to figure out exactly what you want before you get it. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. That is all we have time for on today's podcast. But make sure you subscribe and follow this podcast so that you never miss an episode. My main mission when creating this podcast was to impact the life of every single person who tunes in. So if you have listened to something on today's episode which resonated with you, or something you know will help someone close to you, please feel free to share it with them, whether that be in person or through social media. Please feel free to give me a tag on Instagram at IsisFoster1. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week.